Son raises eyebrows and perhaps triggers that need for investigations to be conducted in relation to the very same. Let's go back to the front page and see what are some of the stories that have been captured that speak volumes to what it is that is happening in the country. And yes, page 2, the front page, millennials speak this. And this is what they care about. That, as well as a story captured on page 3 and a report conducted by Aga Khan in relation to what then is the interest of the Gen Zs of today. And this study, they said this is what Gen Zs care most about. They have highlighted a couple of compelling issues and reasons as to why they care about some of this. Report shows this group is instead more worried about the manner in which they communicate, contrary to what you would traditionally expect for them to focus on. You could grab a copy of the People Daily and get details of it. Radical proposals to cut TSC powers. This also is quite an interesting one. A story captured on the front page, expounded on page 6 of the People Daily. They speak of change constitution to check wide mandates given to teachers. Employer task force recommends in draft proposal. And we're also talking about a team whose tenure ends in 10 days, also wants all teachers' colleges to have one CEO and board in reforms. The story captured on page 6 is actually the full report. It will be interesting to read this one and perhaps understand what the task force has given in terms of proposals of the adjustments that would require to be made in the education sector for posterity and, for making sure that the sector then does not plunge to disaster. Ruto drums up support for new taxes amid protests. The story that is also on the front page of the People Daily, and of course expounded on page 4. This drumming up of support playing out yesterday in Busia, but equally he's been traversing different parts of the country as well, speaking to this matter. Will it sail through? Will it not? A question of wait and see. That is what we have on the newspapers this morning. Allow us to shift gears to the stories that have been prepared by my team, and we briefly take a look at some of them. Yes, stories prepared by my team. Okay, let's see what we have. I think at this very point, you will allow us to take a quick short break, and we fix some bit of a technical hitch and come back to that.
It starts with you. The idea.
At some point we saw like the industry, it's not tapped in Kenya. Most of the times you see guys looking for anything Western. So we decided like, why not?
The name. The target market.
Our main demography would be the high-end fashion consumers. But as time goes by, we have expanded our demography to accommodate everyone.
The Grind, Mondays, 6:30 p.m.
For the biggest of guests, from politicians to entertainers to content creators to whichever kind of a person you want to think that you'd want to see on the show, this is the place to be. Dr. Funike tonight.
Each and every Wednesday. My name is DJ Lizney, not your ordinary DJ.
And of course, they call me the eagle himself. Your host, Dr. Funike, is my name. Of course, every Wednesday at 7:30. See you then. Don't touch.
Make sure to join us.
Tell your landlord as well. Jua unalipiwa parent.
Sikose.
It's fight night, and the WBF title is on the line. 10th June at Charter Hall, Nairobi. Sarah Achieng defends our national hopes against Edith Soledad from Argentina. Event begins 6 p.m. Too late.
Want to learn?
For the first step, we are going to draw through the balloons. As you can see, we have balloons on our birthday cards.
Have fun. Then catch Kids on the Block every Saturday at 9 a.m.
All right, so welcome back. And now let's pick the stories. And religious leaders have backed the move to have regulations framework drafted which govern religious organizations in the country, even as pressure continues to mount on the William Ruto administration to regulate churches in the wake of bizarre death allegedly occasioned by the teachings of cult leader Paul Mackenzie. A task force to review legal and regulatory is already in place. Chichi Josephine details.
The Shakahola incident has elicited a heated debate about the horrific harm religion's fathered matter can do to its followers. And in the wake of these, clerics in the church have been at the forefront advocating for regulations to be put in place to control worship places. Religious leaders drawn from Meru County are the latest to back the move by the government in a bid to tame extremist organizations operating under the guise of religion.
Wale viongozi wote ambao wanaongoza katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, wote ni washiriki wetu. Kianzia na rais, naibu wake na wengine wengi. Kwa hivyo hatuna shaka na ile kamati ambayo wameteuliwa na rais wachunguze, wakuje haraka, wafanye haraka hiyo jambo.
I want to believe the church have no problem. Let us handle individuals as criminals.
The leaders have called for national government administration officers Ngao, including chiefs and assistant chiefs, to be in the meantime take charge in keeping vigil in the areas of jurisdiction to avoid a similar scenario as witnessed in Shakahola.
Where was the government? Barring over 200 people. My question is, are there chiefs on those areas? Is the county commissioner there? When somebody gets lost, one person, I believe the family always report the chiefs or the DC that we have lost a family member. I don't know where it's gone. Used to be in this church. Was there no investigations?
President William Ruto has put in place a 17-member task force to look into laws and regulations to regulate churches, which was lauded by the leaders, reiterating that it is a move that would bring sanity to religious organizations.
Ni vizuri hata ikiwezekana hata watu wanatubwa kwa makanisa hata na kuangalia the teachings ile mafundisho watu wanapatiwa.
While calling for other leaders to back the move by the state, the leaders at the same time observed that if a church is to be found teaching non-biblical teachings leading to mysterious disappearance of people, called for its leadership to be investigated and arrested.
This is my prayer that we should all support the government in their policies and we understand those policies before we criticize, so that we work the same direction. And for the church, I believe the team which was formed by the president will come to the grassroots, all the counties, so that they get views from us, so that we know how the church should be run.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has called on church leaders to collaborate with the government in identifying and getting rid of unscrupulous clergymen hiding behind the pulpit who are using holy books to sway Kenyans.
Ile shida ambayo tuko nayo ni asilimia moja ya makanisa, na niseme haswa sio makanisa, ni watu binafsi ambao wamejificha katika makanisa, watu wachache ambao wamepaka tope na kunajisi kanisa ya Kristo kwa kujificha pale kwa Biblia, kwa madhabahu na kufanya mambo maovu.
The death toll in the Shakahola Forest massacre has hit 241, with the exhumation exercise halted last week as the post-mortem exercise peak pace of 129 bodies. Security officials involved in the Shakahola exercise has also discovered more graves. Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Now, as the world marked Menstrual Hygiene Day, statistics indicate that 65% of women and girls in Kenya cannot afford sanitary pads due to poverty. In Bungoma County, the Nalondo CBM National Secondary School for physically handicapped teachers have taken the responsibility of buying the pads for their students as effort to keep them in class. Bungoma-based reporter Wanji Sustain paid a visit to the school and filed this report.
It is the 21st century, but still sanitary towels are still hard nuts to crack to many families in Kenya. Statistics show that 65% of women and girls cannot afford their towels for their hygienic monthly periods. We toured Nalondo CBM Special National School for physically handicapped to examine sanitary towels' hardship to the challenged girls. The school principal, Walter Kwanusu, explains that they have been forced to take up the responsibility, pointing out ignorance from majority of parents.
Kile ambacho tumekuwa tukifanya ni kwamba tumekuwa tukichanga pesa kama walimu, tunaweka pamoja na kupitia kwa mwalimu wa G&C, Guidance and Counseling, na tunapochanga hizo pesa kidogo, alafu tunanunua.
Sarah was an alumni of Nalondo CBM, narrates of the new responsibility they have taken up to provide this essential commodity for girls on a monthly basis.
I had a friend who experienced such a situation. All of a sudden it started and she didn't have those sanitary pads with her. So it was a very shameful act to her, but we try to encourage her.
Being the situation in Bungoma County, a group of ladies dubbed the Rainbow Foundation, led by Catherine Inyona, have been traversing the county to sensitize girls on matters of hygienic menstrual, urging well-wishers to join in the campaign.
This day is important to us and also to them, so that we can come and enlighten them about the menstrual hygiene.
We are very happy to have this, and we promise that when they do this all the time, we will improve as girls.
Nominated Senator Gloria Roba introduced a motion in Parliament that seeks to have the government increase funds for free female hygiene products and menstrual pads. Now leaders backing the motion, observing it will go a long way in supporting the vulnerable in the society.
Nafikiria itakuwa vyema ikiwa tunakuwa na policy kwamba hizi must-stay freeze usodo vipeane kwa wanafunzi, na si tu mara moja moja. Iwe ni policy kwamba labda katika kila muhula wanapewa, kwa sababu ni jambo ambalo ni lazima na linawaadhiri ya wanafunzi iwapo wanakosa.
Tunajadili mswada kuhakikisha kwamba serikali ya kitaifa inaweka kwenye bajeti pesa za kutosha.
That will be the only equalizer kati ya matajiri na maskini.
Elsewhere, reproductive health advocates in Kiambu County have lamented on the rise of school dropouts in Gatundu North Sub-County amongst teenage girls as a result of lacking sanitary towels due to poverty, within many more missing school days during the menstruation periods.
Wengi wao wametoka katika jamii ambazo katika hali ya kifedha maisha yako chini kidogo, kwa hivyo inakuwa ni shida hao watoto kuweza kufika shuleni wakati mwezi unapokaribia wao kupata hiyo hadhi, unapata ya kwamba hawaji shule.
Wanji Sustain, TV47, Bungoma.
And Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has vowed to continue with his sustained war against illicit brew in Mount Kenya until the vice is wiped out completely. This comes as youth in parts of the larger Kiambu County snubbed an anti-alcohol sensitization roadshow, as Zainab Mohammed details.
As alcohol abuse seemingly continues threatening the very fabric of the Mount Kenya region, the menace has now attracted concerted efforts from both national and cultural leaders at the grassroots level after reports of collusion between law enforcement officials and dealers of the illicit brews. For the better part of the weekend, elders from the Kiama group hopped on this caravan in a bid to take matters in their hands and sensitize the youth.
Tunataka kila mtu katika sekta ya jamii, wale wako kwa kanisa, wale wako kwa uongozi wa jamii, wale wamechaguliwa, wote tushikane pamoja. Tukishikana pamoja tuwe na initiative moja ya kusema tunaanza hapa, tutafanya hii, tutafanya hii.
In their efforts to nip the vice in the bud, the leaders traversed through Ngoliba, Mugogoni, Kilimambogo, Kitima, Muguga, Komo, Kwaheri, Kiganjo, Makongeni and Kamenu areas, pleading with the youth to say no to drugs and alcohol abuse. What stood out, however, is the lack of audience on the streets, with the elders left to address groups of boda riders, calling on the county and the national governments to limit the number of bars and clubs in the area in order to contain the vice further.
Ukitaka kusimamisha mto usimamishe mahali unaanzia, si mahali tayari umefika. Kwa hivyo tukipata usaidizi, tupate hiyo information, tunaweza kuifuata mpaka mahali inatoka na tunaweza kuipata.
While this was going on, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was in Thika, where he vowed to continue with his sustained war on the same until the vice is wiped out completely. According to the DP, the vice has deprived many youth in the area from attaining their full potential.
And I want to thank all these leaders and our governors. This war on illicit brews and bangi is 70% won. We are still remaining with 30%. Kuna watu wanasema ati tutafanya alafu tuchoke ati warudi. Sisi hatuwezi choka. Tutapigana na hii maneno for the next 5 years.
Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Residents of Isebania in Migori County have protested the growing insecurity in the area, further faulting the police for what they alleged termed as laxity and corruption at work. They now want police officers transferred and investigations hastened following the death of a man who was shot dead by unknown people.
Police in Isebania, Migori County have made the first arrest of the chaos on Thursday at the Isebania, which left 4 people dead and a wave of destruction in its wake. The 41-year-old John Chagwa and 39-year-old Hamisi Chacha were apprehended by police, who had been pursuing them since the incident occurred, and will be charged in court with incitement to violence and malicious damage. The long-week chaos witnessed in Isebania, Migori County has raised concerns among residents, who are now pointing an accusing finger to security officials for allegedly engaging in corruption and further failing in their mandate.
Watu wanauawa kama ndege kwa sababu the askari, mtu anauawa, they take time kurespond. Sasa wananchi dazo wana demand wakuwe na security yao, whereby hao watu waliokuwa hapa walisusia. That's why our brother was killed.
Musa John, one of the residents in Isebania town, narrates how issues moved from bad to worse as they were transporting the body of the late Mwangi Mogore, a businessman who was gunned down last weekend by unknown people at the border town.
Ndio tulikuwa tunakuja tukitoka vizuri hata tukabrief vijana tukawaambia now we want peace because our brother amekufa, tunataka tumzike kwa amani. Tukawaambia wasifanye kitu chochote, tuache tumsindikize ndugu yetu. But kufika hapa police station tukapata askari wamejipanga vizuri, walikuwa prepared to fight us.
2 days ago, protesters blocked the Isebania Migori Road, where 4 people were killed and several others sustained injuries. They paralyzed the cross-border movement and trade, with reports of criminal gangs disappearing into the neighboring country Tanzania.
Hao watoto miona wakiandamana, hao watoto wanatoka nchi jirani ya Tanzania. Na mimi mwenyewe nimeshapiga ripoti mpaka hata kwa mkubwa wa children officer kule Tanzania kwamba watoto wenu wanatuhangaisha. Saa 2 wako hapa wamekuwa chokora hapa, na hii ni kazi ambayo machifu wangefanya. Sasa utepetevu wa machifu hawajui kazi ile wameandikwa wafanye. Hao watoto tunataka wakuwe watoleo hapa, warudi kwao, kwa sababu wakiamka asubuhi ni hapa, na ndio wanaleta hizi matatizo. Unaona mtoto wa miaka 10, miaka 6 anakuja kurusha mawe. Je, huyu mtoto akifika 15 years, si ndio watakuwa majambazi wa kutupiga hapa?
Residents now want police officers transferred and investigations hastened following the death of a businessman who was shot by unknown people. Already, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority IPOA has begun investigations into the incident and has vowed tough actions on perpetrators. Andrin Akilemi, TV 47.
And cracks in the Meru County government leadership have begun to widen, with Area Senator Kathuri Murungi now saying he will constitute an oversight committee to oversight the county's executive. This comes against a backdrop of a divided assembly and a looming showdown over a second impeachment plot. John Java Kiania reports.
With just days before Meru County Assembly resumes, Governor Kawira Mwangaza's owns against a peaceful reminder of her first term are clearly stacked against her if her political events in Meru at the weekend are anything to go by. Just days after a rift emerged among members of the County Assembly about a second impeachment plot against the governor, the County Senator Kathuri Murungi now says he will put the governor on the oversight microphone.
Sisi tumeamua sasa kuanza process ya kutafuta kaunti mbili ndio Meru iwe na pesa mingi. Number 2, after this budget, the next budget lazima tugawe na 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote.
Wangapi lazima Kawira aende? Kawira mbae, baemba,
sababu kumekuwa na siasa mingi na maneno mengi, propaganda mingi ikienea katika hii Meru. Sisi tumekusanyika kusema ya kwamba vile tuliafikiana na vile tulikubaliana ya kwamba tutashirikiana na gavana wa Meru. Sisi kama bunge la Meru, wabunge zaidi ya 60 tuko nyuma yake 100%.
Na kila mtu ako na kazi yake. Kile ningeomba tu wale wako chini ya wale wamechaguliwa waheshimu wale wamechaguliwa. Mnajua ninamaanisha nani? Kila mtu aheshimiwe ule amechaguliwa ama ule amekuwa nominated. Lakini tukianza kuchimbana hatutaenda mbali.
At the eye of the second impeachment storm are allegations of bad blood between the governor and a deputy Isaac Mutuma, who says is being frustrated. It is reported that his official car was withdrawn, with the governor's side saying that he could have absconded from the official duty.
Lazima deputy governor Mutuma tuodhinge apewe heshima yake. Tuko pamoja. Ile kitu kingine nataka kusema, Nyambene tuko na miraa, Nyambene tuko na makadamia. Nataka kusema ya kwamba Governor Kawira ape miraa na makadamia heshima. Huko kwetu makadamia inauza shilingi 20. Nimeenda kwa governor kumweleza maneno ya miraa, amekataa kusikiza.
No vehicle of the deputy governor was taken away from him except one vehicle that was related to his normal day-to-day issues, but not his official car.
Things are not okay. The governor has started ways of vilification. She's demeaning everybody. She wants to run this county government like a family affair.
John Javakiania, TV 47, Meru County.
Siaya Deputy Governor William Oduol has been expelled from the Orange Democratic Movement ODM. This follows his continued differences with his boss, Siaya Governor James Orengo, which played out in public. The party's branch officials who met in Siaya town resolved that Oduol should be compelled to resign from his position since he no longer subscribes to the aspirations of the party, arguing that the county leadership was an ODM one and all elected appointed officials are expected to act within the strict confines of the party rules and provisions. Oduol's public accusations against Orengo on his mismanagement saw the County Assembly of Siaya summon him to table evidence of the same.
This meeting today observes that the Siaya County government is an ODM government, and therefore all elected leaders and all appointed officials within the county government are expected to operate within the strict confines of party rules and provisions. The committee and the meeting therefore has noted with great concern an emerging trend of a few officials of the county government opting to prosecute unsubstantiated claims in the media instead of exploring the available dispute resolution mechanisms within the party. Such officials are therefore deemed to be working in cahoots with the UDA party and are therefore no longer recognized as members of the ODM party. It is clear that they are agents of instability and confusion sent to distract the governor from delivering his agenda for the people of Siaya. This meeting, therefore, has unanimously resolved that the Siaya County Deputy Governor be compelled to resign from his position as the DG since he no longer subscribes to the ideals and aspirations of the party.
Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has sent a stern warning to leaders who have observed are making remarks that might cause disharmony among Kenyans. Kindiki noted that the government will deal firmly with such leaders, as this warning comes amid concerns over the regrouping of the outlawed Mungiki sect. Anyone making statements that can divide the country, they say, will face the wrath of the law. Jackson Chacha reports.
Amid fears over the regrouping of one of the outlawed Mungiki sect, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has vowed that the government will ruthless force deal with leaders enlisting the youth into prescribed groups. Kindiki intimated that a section of leaders are trying to revive criminal groups in some parts of the country for self-political achievements.
Anybody involved in recruiting our young people from Central Kenya to join proscribed organizations, including Mungiki, we are coming for you.
Kindiki, speaking during a church service at the Back Siakago Cathedral in Embu County, noted that Mount Kenya region had suffered deeply illegal groupings such as Mungiki in the past, warning that political leaders who are trying to revive the group will not be entertained.
Irrespective of their rank in society, any leader serving or former leader, any leader elected or not elected, who is recruiting young people in this region to join Mungiki, I am coming for you the same way I have declared war on cattle rustlers and terrorists.
Kindiki's stern warning comes days after police lobbed tear gas to disperse supporters of ex-Mungiki leader Maina Njenga, who had gathered at the DCI headquarters, where he was being questioned over reported recovery of 2 firearms and rolls of bang at his home in Nakuru County. Traffic along road was brought to a standstill as a group of broke into Kikuyu dialect songs. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua elsewhere, while he joined the Christian faithfuls at the AIPCA Thika Cathedral for the Sunday service, warned that the government will not allow resurgence of outlawed sect. While taking a look in the previous doing of the group, Gachagua observed that Mungiki maimed, raped and terrorized people, maintaining that cannot be entertained under the Kenya Kwanza government, while assessing the former sect leader of taking advantage of the vulnerable to youth.
Government will not allow the revival of that criminal gang. It will not happen.
Leaders accompanied by the Deputy President took on the opposition led by Azimio la Umoja Coalition Party leader Raila Odinga, calling for his retirement from politics.
Sisi sasa kama vijana tutafanya nini? Ikiwa ni wazee wanasema turarue nchi, vijana wadogo watafanya nini kweli jameni? Sisi tunakashifu maongeo kama hayo na kuwaambia tafadhalini muwe wazee ambaye wamehitimu kimiaka na kitabia.
Leaders have called on security agencies to deal firmly with the illegal groups in the country. Jackson Chacha, TV47.
And President William Ruto has insisted that the proposed housing levy and the Finance Bill 2023 are well planned out for the benefit of Kenyans. Ruto maintaining he is not guessing on the proposal to deduct salaries. This has he promised to build 5,000 houses in Busia County. A move, he says, will provide employment to the youth. Speaking during an interdenominational church service in the county, Ruto faulted those opposing the finance bill in totality.
President William Ruto Sunday continued to drum up support for the Finance Bill 2023 in an interdenominational church service in Busia County, as he stressed on the need to impose the 3% housing levy to both employers and employees.
Nimesema hawa wenye wako na payslip watoe kitu kidogo tupange hata wewe ukuwe na payslip. Alafu unakubali anakuja hapa anakudanganya kwa sababu yeye hataki kutoa kwa payslip, anataka wewe uendelee kuhangaika barabarani.
Nimeisoma kila kipengele Ijumaa. Ina maneno mazuri, ina maneno mabaya. Watu wasikudanganya hapa ati kila kitu iko sawa.
This as politicians allied to different political divides urged residents to understand the bill before making an informed decision.
Hiyo bill iko mzuri. Mmesikia viti kutoka China, tunataka wakina Omondi, wakina Wafula watengeneze viti hapa, tununue sisi wenyewe na tuweke pesa mfukoni.
Na ukweli ni kwamba kuna uchochezi mwingi katika mambo ya finance bill, na ni kwa sababu watu hawakuwa naelewa, lakini sisi kama viongozi tumepata nafasi ya kuelewa ni nini hiyo.
Mheshimiwa Rais juzi umesema pia hawa mahasura pia wawekewe pesa ndio waweze kununua manyumba pia kwa bei ya chini. Nikaona watu wengi wakaanza kulalamika. It is our time now, pia sisi wadosi tuchukue hiyo burden ya mahasura.
And in what may seem as a stumbling block in Ruto's push to have the bill passed, Busia Senator Okiya Omtata has threatened to go to court to challenge some of the issues that, according to him, are against the law.
I've already prepared a petition to go to court. But when I heard you are coming to Busia, I did not file it last week. I held on. I pray that we look at this bill. If we can avoid having to go and fight in court, we avoid.
Na unajua uzuri ya huyo Okiya, hata agenipeleka kotini si mbaya, kwa sababu yeye hajapanga kuharibu biashara ya mtu, si ndio? At least hajapanga maandamano. Unajua kuna wengine wananitisha ati usipofanya hii tutapeleka maandamano. Sasa hawa wengine ndio wabaya zaidi. Eri huyu Okiya.
Legislators are expected to debate the bill in Parliament next month in what is expected to be a litmus test to the 13th Parliament as it seeks to fund the budget of the financial year 2023-2024.
And the President's finance bill proposals have continued receiving jitters from the opposition coalition, which has once again termed it as untimely and ill-motivated plan against Kenyans. Legislators allied to the government have found themselves on the receiving end as the public continues to express displeasure with the proposals. On Friday in Kakamega County, Senator Boni Khalwale found himself on the receiving end after a section of the seemingly angered mourners started heckling and shouting him down as he tried to defend President William Ruto's proposed tax increments. Mike Agungo with the details.
Mavoko Member of Parliament Patrick Makau has challenged the government to develop a legal framework for the management of the proposed housing levy in order to guarantee its security. Addressing faithfuls at the African Inland Church Kasina in Mlolongo, Makau said Kenyan workers risked losing billions of shillings if watertight measures were not put in place to handle the housing deductions. The MP urged his colleagues in Parliament to shoot down the bill when it comes to the floor of the House, terming it an excess burden to the already burdened taxpayers.
Hiyo lazima tukatae. Now, the 3% ambayo mnaambiwa, what does it mean? Utakuwa unakatwa ndio ununuliwe nyumba na serikali. Affordable housing. Mimi nauliza, wewe utanunua nyumba kama hujakula kitu.
Kenya Kwanza leaders led by Nandi County Senator Samson Cherargei urged Kenyans to support the Affordable Housing Fund proposals expected to end housing shortage witnessed in the country as well as creating jobs for the youth.
Sisi tutapitisha finance bill kwa sababu Rais William Ruto anahitaji hiyo kodi ndio kuendesha budget ya hii Kenya. Na Kenya hatujafanya vizuri. Tax ya Kenya tukisanya sawa sawa tutasanya mpaka 2.8 trillion ikiwa kila mtu atalipa kodi Kenya hii.
This is a conversation that will go, it will get jobs for everyone. Sasa bado tunaenda bunge wiki inayokuja na tutajadiliana, tumeita our stakeholders wote from the North and Kuppet and the rest of us across the country. We will support what the president wants to do. It will not be easy. We came from the worst place. We want to make it better as we go forward.
Korea West Member of Parliament Mavias Robbie praised the contents of the Finance Bill of 2023 and Housing Levy Fund that he says will enable the common mwananchi own and have decent housing and living standards.
Yule mama mboga, yule hata boda boda, hiyo nyumba anaweza kuilipa. Ulipe kidogo kidogo, rent, alafu nyumba ibaki kuwa kwako.
He says the kind of opposition exhibited by the Azimio coalition is not good for the economic growth of the country. Kakamega County Senator Boni Khalwale on Friday found himself on the receiving end after a section of seemingly angered mourners started heckling and shouted him down as he tried to defend President William Ruto's proposed tax increments.
Lazima mjue mtu mwenye anakuambia kodi imeongezwa, he's telling you his own imagination budget bill itasomwa next month. That is a fact. That is a fact.
He argued that without the taxes, the government will have no money to operate and exude confidence that the controversial Finance Bill of 2023 will be approved by the Parliament. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike, for that story. Now allow us to take a quick short break. We come back with more.
U47 tuko nawe mchana kutwa na usiku kucha.
We are the happy people. We are the world.
Your health is not just about going to the hospital. Your health is about prevention, it's about what you eat, it's about where you live. For this reason, the Body Garage Show exists.
The part of the brain that deals with communication.
Called primary hypertension, which means that we don't find a reason for that.
Join me, Dr. Chepsi, every Thursday, 8 p.m.
Majina naitwa Martha Mutio Njora na miaka 40. Mimi ni mama wa watoto watatu, mkaaji wa Mombasa. Leo nashukuru Mungu kwa hii nafasi nimepatikana hapa kuhamasisha na kuelezea Wakenya na wale watu wanaonitazama na wanaonisikia uzuri na umuhimu wa kuwa na hii cover ya NHIF insurance. Manake mimi nimefaidika sana na imenisaidia Nilichukua NHIF 11 years ago. 2019 nilipatikana na kansa ya matiti, na hapo ndo nilijua umuhimu wa kuwa na kadi ya NHIF. Nimetibiwa 2019 mpaka 2020 kwa muda wa mwaka mmoja, na NHIF ilinisaidia sana kwa chemotherapy, radiotherapy, kwa hizi scans. Nilisaidika na nimesaidika. Nilipomaliza treatment 2020, nilimaliziwa na scans zote, PET scan yenye ililipwa na hiyo NHIF full amount, na ikawa kansa imeisha. Yangu ilikuwa ni kushukuru Mungu. Manake kweli hizo pesa hata nikipiga hesabu sijui ningetoa wapi. Mungu naye akaniponya, ikawa kansa imeisha. 2022 nilirudi tena. Vile nilikuwa naumwa nikaambiwa ni kama kansa imerudi. Na mimi natoka Mombasa naja matibabu Nairobi. Matibabu yangu inafanywa Kenyatta. Nimeanza matibabu. Hata hivi naelekea kumaliza. NHIF wako na mimi, watoto wanaofanya kazi. Tuhakikishe wale tunaoishi nao, wale tunafanya kazi na wao, wako kwa hii insurance ya NHIF. Maanake inasaidia sana. Inaweza kuwa itakusaidia wewe kwa sahi, lakini pia inaweza saidia mwingine mwenye umeandikisha pale. Kuwa na NHIF card haimaanishi utakuwa mgonjwa, hapana. Lakini itafikia wakati itakusaidia. Mimi hata nakumbuka mimi nimeenda private, nimeenda hata public hospitals, imenisaidia sana. Kwa hivyo jamani, 500 tu. Isifanye mtu akose, isifanye Wakenya wakose hizi benefits nyingi. Na ni wengi sana wale ambao hawako kwa NHIF. Jamani, tuwahamasishe na tuwaelezee umuhimu wa kulipa tu 500 ili tusaidike sisi wote kwa pamoja na tuinuane. Mimi yangu ni kushukuru NHIF.
It's fight night and the WBF title is on the line. 10th June at Charter Hall, Nairobi. Sarah Achieng defends our national hopes against Edith Soledad from Argentina. Event begins 6 p.m. Too late.
You know what pops in my house more than the rainbow? Walls. You know what I love between me and him? Space. Don't worry, dishes. No one is doing me either. Hey, not much. Just hanging around. Pull yourself together. Enough on the jokes. Let's talk about real estate. Catch The Realtor every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m.
Statistics from the World Health Organization indicate that 1 in 4 people have a mental health issue. It is time to address this issue that numbers show is rampant among the youth. TV 47 and Radio 47 in conjunction with Conscious Works Consult brings you the Sikika Youth Festival. Join us and our partners on June 2nd at Mount Kenya University, Thika Main Campus from 8 a.m. for a festival like no other. There will be music, dance competitions, expert discussions, counseling, and loads more. Come to Sikika Youth Festival. Have fun as we break stigma around this important issue. Entry is absolutely free.
Murderer! She killed the priest!
That harlot's covered in the priest's blood!
Natalia is fascinated by the story of Altagracia del Toro, a woman who was wrongly
For the biggest of guests, from politicians to entertainers to content creators to whichever kind of a person you want to think that you'd want to see on the show, this is the place to be. Dr. Funike tonight.
Each and every Wednesday. My name is DJ Lizney, not your ordinary DJ.
And of course, they call me the eagle himself. Your host, Dr. Funike, is my name. Of course, every Wednesday at 7:30. See you then. Don't touch.
Make sure to join us.
Tell your landlord as well. Jua unalipia wa parent.
Sikose.
From politics, health, cooking, relationships, and entertainment, join Linda Alela every weekday from 6 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. only on Morning Cafe.
Your health is not just about going to the hospital. Your health is about prevention, it's about what you eat, it's about where you live. For this reason, the Body Garage Show exists.
The part of the brain that deals with communication.
Called primary hypertension, which means that we don't find a reason for that.
Join me, Dr. Chepsi, every Thursday, 8 p.m.
Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Beyond the Limit. We have not even scratched the surface when it comes to knowledge about disability. Beyond the Limit with me, Zainab Mohammed, every Saturday at 7.
Methali ya leo: kanga hazai ugenini.
Maana ya nje ya methali hii ni kwamba kanga hatamii wala kuangua vifaranga katika mazingira asiyokuwa na uzoefu nayo.
Maana ya ndani: mtu hafanyi mambo kama ilivyo desturi yake katika mazingira asiyozoea.
Methali hii hutumiwa kama sababu ya kumtetea mtu aliyekosa kufaulu katika jambo kwa kulifanyia katika mazingira tofauti asiyoyazoea.
Wanauliza masaa ya bomba ni mangapi?
For the biggest of guests, from politicians to entertainers to content creators to whichever kind of a person you want to think that you'd want to see on the show, this is the place to be. Dr. Funike tonight.
Each and every Wednesday. My name is DJ Lizney, not your ordinary DJ.
And of course, they call me the eagle himself. Your host, Dr. Funike, is my name. Of course, every Wednesday at 7:30. See you then. Don't touch.
Make sure to join us.
Tell your landlord as well. Jua unalipia wa parent.
Sikose.
From politics, health, cooking, relationships, and entertainment, join Linda Alela every weekday from 6 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. only on Morning Cafe.
just according strategy in terms of leadership and politics, equally he fits in so well. And because we're about to discuss the status of the nation, I think he will ably as well help us articulate some of this matter. The disappointing bit of this is that we are back here to discuss some of the things that we have discussed for the longest of time. But the beauty of it is that we say we do not relent, because then some of these ones are more or less like putting up a fight, in the sense that, you know what, you might not get to hit the road, you know, and join the maandamano. You might not get the chance to go to parliament and, you know, give your proposals in terms of the finance bill, but as well on television, you can discuss some of these matters that are of importance. And Professor, the beauty of it is that some of these clips will circulate, the right people will watch, and perhaps they will pick up some of the things that we propose and put them to use, and they could be helpful, you know, for a better nation. So it's good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Salimia wa Kenya. Unaongeanga Kiswahili?
Kiswahili nakijua, unajua tunasema Kiswahili kitukuzwe. Tulikuwa tuko high school. Sisi tulikuwa tunajua tunapata A ya kuandika because kulikuwanga na ile si hakuna ya kuongea. Unaandika unapata A lakini kuizungumza ni ngumu. Lakini uko na A. Tunasema ulipata A kwa Kiswahili lakini wajua watu Mombasa wanaweza wakapata B ama C, lakini wanajua kuizungumza. Sasa najua Kiswahili tunaelewa. Mara nyingi tukienda Mombasa, tukifika Mombasa, inabidi wajua Kiswahili na download tu rahisi. Alafu unajipata tu kama umeongea Kiswahili mpaka unashangaa. Na accent yao, mpaka unajiuliza ni mimi. Karibu ujichuni uone kama ni wewe au sio wewe. And so here we are. And because that equally is one of our languages, and actually the first, I think it's very important that sometimes here and there you throw in some bit of Swahili. But once again, welcome on board. The hashtag is Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela TV47KE. We get to the discussion. Sunday Oyolo, as well as Justice Juma, are supposed to be joining us shortly. And it being a chilly morning, nafikiri wameshikwa na traffic somewhere along the corner, and we hope that they join us shortly. But before then, Professor is an early bird, and I think understands the aspect of times and you know, the roads and how they look like, and will always find his way to the studio on time. So karibu sana, and once again, thank you for that, and congratulations for that. They say the government of Ruto, and I think that is what he has exhibited over time. I remember during the swearing-in ceremony, he was quite, like he was on time until it surprises many. And I am told even in most of the cabinet meetings, he is always on time. And so his foot soldiers have no choice but to equally make time, which is one of the things that we actually tend to overlook. In fact, they say that when you win your day from morning, you win most of the time. There's a soldier who says that, why don't you do the most correct things the first time you wake up? Like some people, when you wake up, some people cannot spread their bed. If you're waking up and you can't even make the bed right, what else will you make wrong all the way from when you wake up until when you go back to bed? The evening, So they say that waking up early, beginning your events on time, you are in control on your day from very early in the morning.
That's true.
Some of us don't like excuses. In fact, at home, I put a rule and tell my son and my family, excuses exist outside this house. Because I told them as growing up, as a young boy, one thing that I never liked is excuses. There were so many things that I could explain why I could not do this, I could not do that. But you see, if we bring these candid things into our viewers, that excuses can paralyze you. They only paralyze you. Linda, there's a reason for why you should do anything wrong, why you should steal a neighbor's food, why you should not be an honest person. But when we put these things aside and say, why don't we put excuses aside and focus on delivery? In fact, it starts from home. Because, for example, when you find most of our leaders in this country, they were family members. They were children in family. If your home was a home where your mother gave excuses why they could not prepare food for your father on time, clothes could not be ready on time, where your father explained why he could not feed the family. They could have many reasons to explain this. But I can tell you, I grew up as a young boy. My father was a catechist. On Sunday, my father used to go for 4 services, and he used to come from home, dress up, go and pick Holy Communion, move from one parish to the other, taking Holy Communion. My mother had the diligence of ensuring that his bag had everything that was needed, and his clothes were well prepared. For us, my mother could not wake up too early because, after giving birth to 11 children, we could help. So we could go and warm water for him to shower because he never showered with cold water. So everybody had a duty, and everybody ensured that everything was happening on time so that we can support him to deliver his role as a father. And we grew up, my father used to say, bring anything else, but excuses cannot be an ingredient for success. And I think this is what even Kenyans need to really know. Then secondly, today I was trying to explain something to my friends today in the morning when he had a call with them. And he was asking me, Fred, is there any reason to be happy in this country or in this economic context? And I tell them, be happy for no reason. Because if you're happy for any reason, that reason can be taken away from you. Then your happiness depends on external factors. For example, if you're happy because people like you, what if tomorrow they dislike you? If you're happy because the cost of living is doing well, what if it goes bad? So I'm sure that Kenyans, at the moment, I'm telling people, don't be happy for anything. Because when you're happy for any reason, that reason will go away. Like, for example, if you're just happy because people have been telling you that you are a nice person, what if you discover they are gossiping in another WhatsApp group saying how stupid you are? Or, for example, if you're happy because of the job you have, what if you lose it? Or if you're happy because of a relative, what if they pass away? And there are so many things which are going on. The situations are hard, and I think the issue of mental health also is important for our viewers also to know that if you put your happiness and peg it on something, those things are things which can go. The only thing you can be happy about is that something for sure, that God is with you and that God is seeing us through this situation. And I can tell you, Linda, no matter how things are hard, don't be having faith on the president and this government. Don't be putting hope on the opposition. Put hope in God. And God can see us through all this. God saw us through very hard times. COVID-19 was very difficult times. We are out here, we can breathe, we can walk, we can work. So let's just pray that God can also prevail upon these our leaders so that we find a good outcome. But if you are relying on them to make the right decision to help you, that putting your hope on those people and happiness on those people and being happy for a reason, the reason will go away. But I'm sure God has all the things we need. And I know that God will be helpful to Kenyans at the moment. And I'm not trying to preach religion here. I'm just trying to say faith that makes you go do something. Not faith on somebody that you sit back and wait for them to do for you something. Wake up, do something. The Bible is very clear. You have to work to earn money, isn't it? But by putting your faith and hope on these people that are sitting back, they're going to wire money in your mobile phone, this is completely going to take away a lot of happiness from you.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, some truth there, so a bit hard. And difficult to accept, especially when you know very well that some of these decisions we've made, when we're talking about these very same leaders, these are leaders we've elected. And, you know, it is difficult to imagine that you could focus on God 100% and at some point in time not blame the leadership or not even question the leader or even hope that the leadership then changes this. But all in all, we're here. And I think we face it as it comes. Karibu sana. And let's get to perhaps just look at the papers this morning. I've been looking at some of them and I am thinking, well, a majority of the stories that we've been talking about for, you know, the better part of I don't know when, since this government came on board. And it breaks my heart. And perhaps now I understand to a large extent why you would argue that maybe we can only put our hope, you know, in God and hope that he touches then these leaders differently and we get to see a different aspect to it. I'd love for us to focus on, you know, this conversation of the Azimio team and what they're bound to do, the talks of cessation, which is one thing that you do not want to listen to as well. Just looking at the finance bill, which appears as though it will sail through based on that push, you know, and the president has really tried his level best to push for it and calling upon members of parliament to, you know, at least give it a clean bill of health. And that automatically then means if it goes to him, it sells to law, to becoming law. And as well, we would love to look at the question of graft and the promises that he makes.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of other stories that are equally of importance, and we should discuss the resurgence of Mungiki.
Yes.
It is one of the stories that has been captured on the front page, and perhaps all the papers. It's on the Standard newspaper, page 14 and page 15. And I stand talking regarding Gachagua.
Yes.
I think you witnessed what we were treated to with our neighbors right here, the DCI, the other week.
Yes.
After the summoning of the former Mungiki sect leader.
Yes.
And his supporters, and I don't know whether his supporters then would be looked at as Mungiki. But here we are, and I doubt as a country we want to go back to those ugly moments.
Yeah, you see, first of all, you have to understand why has Mungiki emerged. I think that one thing that is a reason why Mungiki has always emerged, Mungiki has always emerged during hard economic times.
Yeah.
And I think you can tell this because even their claim has always been that life is very hard. Some of them believe they fought for independence. Some of them believe that they deserve better. So Mungiki has always had a reason to come back during hard economic times.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I've seen Kindiki giving a threat. I'm seeing Deputy President giving a threat to them and said, we cannot allow for Mungiki to re-emerge. I think that the main solution is sort out the economic issue.
Yeah.
Because that's actually their basis for argument, that people have no livelihood, so they come back. So Mungiki has been groups that have emerged for what we call economic reasons. So as far as the economy will continue to perform very badly, we won't see Mungiki, but there are also other Mungikis which are not named, which have also emerged to do some other things that can be ignored. Insecurity in this country goes higher to the extent the economy is not doing very well. Look at other economic issues. Look at even if you look about the issue of Shakahola, Shakahola is an economic issue because people who have been depending on these pastors, I mean these pastors looking for economic way out of life.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there's so many economic issues which are emerging as social. They're hidden social movement, civil society and the rest, but these issues are actually economic issues. And I think that the president needs to come and address the issue of economics. Yeah. When economics address, things will come down. Look, during Kibaki, how much did you hear about Mungiki? And when Kibaki left power, he left it to Uhuru Kenyatta. Yeah. You saw economy was not doing very badly. Everybody was not feeling the way they are feeling now. I'm sure when I say that, people might think I'm trying to say that Ruto's government is not performing. The issue is that the economy is in shutters. Yeah. I can tell you, Linda, this one word I was thinking over the weekend to describe this economy is that the economy is lean. What I mean by lean, I was in Embu over the weekend. I went to Maguna supermarket. I was almost the only shopper. You could see tellers almost playing and showing each other things on the phone. And you could see when somebody comes, people are not picking those big trolleys to push. People are picking the small ones just to pick what you need for today and go. But people used to push those things and shop for a whole month. I've gone to some supermarkets within, let's say, areas like, let's say, Utawala, this area.
Yeah.
If you go to the frequency at which people are picking the bigger trolleys to push to do shopping has reduced. You know that a county like Embu has so many teachers. By now, there could be so many people who are, after salaries have dropped because they get salaries between 22nd, 26th, thereabout. So those things have dropped significantly. So the country is lean. And now we can see some of these resurgence. Is Mungiki good for this country? No, they are not good. In fact, you remember the shoot-to-skill order that was done with the former president, let's say Minister Muchuki. It was not a good scene. Yeah. We don't need to see them. But now, going to attack Maina Njenga, all those things, they are bringing these things to themselves. I told you, the president and the government could have concentrated on just fixing the economy and put their priorities right. Fighting people, fighting political parties, fighting what if these individuals then have gone against the law and, as the law would dictate, anybody
I mean, there's no one who's above the law. How are they supposed to handle this as government without appearing as though they are going or hunting on a certain
But I've told
individual?
you cannot use a gun to solve an economic issue. It is clear, Linda.
This is economic.
This is an economic issue.
Even with the connection.
Mungiki have always looked for someone to support them. That's why they have their own master who is speaking on their behalf. So they have to collect money, make the master have a voice. Just look, for example, even the issues like trade unions. The trade union head is a rich man, but he's fighting for poor people. And it's an economic issue because if he has money, he has no voice, so he can't be listened to. So that's why we have to empower Maina and Njenga to fight on their behalf. If they make these people who follow Maina and Njenga have economically productive activities, how will they be spending time next to this person? How much money do they make from Maina and Njenga? Actually, they're the ones who give him money. So I'm trying to say, if you solve this economic issue, remove this problem once and for all. So according to me, there is no money in the counties. The money that is being taken from the national government to counties has gone down. Go to any county. Everyone is talking about remittance to counties.